your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. We're going. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And make sure you hit up the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. If there's any way you can help us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear, it would be much appreciated. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go to their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. And as always, for all you Marines that gotten out, those FMF sailors out there, there's a place for you. It's called the Marine Corps League. Go ahead, go check out the website, join up, and let's get those numbers up for the Marine Corps League. Go to mcleague.org. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right. I got the crew here. We'll go ahead and go round robin real quick. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding, Andrew. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. Despite, I forgot. But everything's great here. Everything's great. I don't want to get cut off by my internet cut off right now. So, it's all great. We're doing some good things here. We've got some assemblymen that are doing some great things for the state of California, and things are looking up. I just got done visiting my 7-week-old granddaughter.
Very nice.
It was great to see her. And so I'm happy.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. So, now how is she quite a bit bigger now? I mean, 7 weeks old. How much did she grow?
I haven't seen her in person for a month. She didn't seem to grow that much, but
yeah,
she did. She's growing. She's moving around really good. Facial expressions,
Nice. Okay.
Great.
I like it. All right, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, Andrew. Was a decent week at work. My allergies are killing me. If you see me doing this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was out cutting grass today, which I did not want to do, but it's supposed to rain most of this week. And if I didn't, my backyard it was already field grass.
Yeah.
So I had to kick the lawnmower up and mow one way, mow the other way. I did like half of it and then drop it down a couple steps and then go back and finally get it back to where it needs to be. So, yeah.
Wow. So sounds like loads of fun.
So I am a snotty-nosed guy right now because of eyeballs are itchy and all I want to do is do this. But,
oh, yeah. I don't know.
It is what it is. That's that time of year.
This eye right here is watering and red as can be right now due to allergies. Hey, stop fighting, dogs.
Well, it's that time of year. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
The whole time I'm cutting grass, my next door neighbor, he had a smoker on and he had a Boston butt just smoking. And I was like, I'd come back the other way and finally got done. And I said, what are you cooking? He goes, Boston butt. And I was like, man, you got to quit doing that crap, man. It's just, you're sitting there.
I'd have taken the lawnmower right up to him. Hey, what's going on?
I was like, man, just sitting there smoking this and smoking that. And he goes, I'm trying some new smoke chips today. I was like, okay, thanks. Rub it in. I asked for a smoker for Christmas and didn't get it. So
Oh man.
I'm salty. Yeah, I'm being.
Yeah. Yeah.
I walked in the house and my wife, she was getting ready to go to work, and she's like, "What does that smell? Something burning?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the neighbor smoking his butt." She goes, "What?" I said, "He's smoking a Boston butt." She goes, "That smells really good." I was like, "Yeah, I asked for a smoker for Christmas and I didn't get it." She just looked at me. She's like, she goes, "Well, you do know Father's Day is coming up." I was like, "Well, you know how many butts I could have smoked between
Yeah.
Christmas and Father's Day?" So,
That's pretty good. Well, shoot. Well, we don't really have a lot prepared, and it's just the three of us. Maybe we can sit and just chat about some things. Um, so I had a question. I noticed when I was in the like active duty, and individuals would reach out, like retirees or veterans and stuff, reach out to the active duty component folks. A lot of times it was, to reach back and say things like, "Hey, you're messing this up," or this or that, a couple of different things. But I've seen some podcasters out there that have gotten into it with some active duty folks, and I was just kind of wondering, what is kind of your take on that?
when you say getting into it with them, what do you mean? Like,
Well, they got I guess online and stuff. They went back and forth or what have you. Um, but it's what I see is kind of the retiree folks or somebody like that talking about what's going on in the active ranks and things of that nature. And then they kind of pointed out one individual in particular. But I was just wondering, I mean, have you dealt with that mark at all, or?
I have dealt with it some, um, but I've made it my point to not get specific about what I feel or some of those things in a public manner, such as a podcast. I definitely have my feelings, my opinions, my experience on a lot of things about what is going on in today's Marine
Yeah.
Corps, and in my units that I was, uh, you know, a senior enlisted advisor for. Some of the
Hmm.
things that are going on now in the Marine Corps would not have went on in my units. And
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get on, like I said, in a public
hmm,
forum like this and start pointing out individual units and individual uh, Marines for the decisions they're making now. I just
Yeah.
I just won't do it. I mean, I'll talk to back and forth with people about it and everything, but I wouldn't do it in this public forum because you don't know what's going on in that actual unit.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just personally can't do it. I just won't do it.
Yeah, I had when I was active duty, the only run-in that I had with it, an individual had continued to post things like he was a musician, so he'd see pictures of the band or he'd see videos of the band, things like that, and he would go on there and basically just tell them how they were messed up and different things like that. And the Marine Corps order says you need to do this or that. And when it happened, I just kind of I didn't publicly do anything. I just sent him a private message like, "Hey, look, if you have something to say about that unit, contact the unit, the leadership, and let them handle it. They can either tell you, no, we're not doing things that way anymore, or they can say, hey, thanks for pointing that out and fix it." I was like, but don't do it in a public forum on this Facebook or whatever. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's
and
got to
he
be a
he
hard
ended
thing,
up
even.
reaching out.
Go to that unit. Go to that if you have the opportunity. Go to that unit. Talk to the sergeant major. You know about it.
Yeah,
Well, that's got to be a thing for like you, Mark. As a sergeant major, and that community is deep. And even you, Andrew, as a master gunny. I mean, you still know a lot of people in the Marine Corps
mhm.
community at that point. So, I mean, like for you, Andrew, what do you see? You asked the question. I see things when I watch certain videos or I'll look at pictures or, heck, even with the First Marine Division. And
Mhm.
there's like new joins, stuff like that. And it's like, oh, cool, that's neat. And I've reached out to you, Andrew, and I'm like, I've sent you messages, and I was like, what the heck is up with the hair standards now?
Yeah,
I
because it's
Right,
mean,
changed.
the
right,
majority of my
exactly.
life is I'm bald. I've been bald the majority of my life. Yeah, it's my kids laugh because they'll see pictures even when they were younger, and I still had I always had the horseshoe,
The shiny, the
high and
shiny
tight
head.
horseshoe flat top, but going into, going into Pendleton, it was just easier for me to just start shaving my head because I was losing my
Mhm.
hair. So I could just, my wife used to cut my hair and she got really good at it. And I finally got to a point I'm like, yeah, I could just shave it and cut it myself. I'll just be bald. But I've actually said stuff to you, Andrew, about, what the hell, excuse me, what is up with, the hair regulations
Yeah.
now? And I'm like, and that's things that, I think every generation of Marine looks at
Mhm.
is like, this generation isn't as good as my generation was, or, you know,
Yeah.
we're another generation compared to Mark. I came in 92. Mark, when did
Yeah.
you come in?
82.
82. That's a 10-year difference,
Yeah.
and that's, how do, and society continues, is constantly changing, but the Marine Corps has always been extremely slow in changing
Oh.
with society. But I think
Mhm.
in today's world, I can only ask because I've been out since 2008.
Mhm.
As far as like you, Andrew, I mean, you've dealt with it. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, the big thing is that I saw like when things are different, right? Like the hairstyles, especially for females, like they really changed a lot of the regulations on that. So if you've been out of the loop, heck, if there's a time if you've been out of the loop for 6 months, you were wrong. And if you'd have said something, it'd have been like, oh yeah, the regulations changed. And they change all the time. It goes back and forth. Let's look at tattoos, for example. How many times has that policy changed? It's been ridiculous. But most of the time,
yeah,
at least for me, I try not to do anything publicly. I'd rather reach out to somebody and ask, like just like you did, Mike, like reach out and say, hey, do you know what the deal is or what have you, you know.
yeah. Well, I can only imagine, like, you and Mark,
Wow.
when you see some of that stuff, it's like, what the hell is going on? Is this my Marine Corps or what's
Yeah.
going on? But I
It,
mean,
it's just like going to the commissary or going to the
Oh
PX
yeah.
at Miramar, and it's like, what, what is going on? But that's,
And
I don't,
and it's not
yeah,
our I don't think it's our place as veterans or whatever to go in there and make those corrections.
I don't
you
feel it
know
is, and I won't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if I know the person, I might give them a hard time, uh more in a joking manner than anything else. But uh I'm definitely not going to go in and start making corrections like I used to back in the day at the exchange.
Oh,
uh
heck no.
I remember they sent a corporal's course to the exchange specifically to make corrections and kick people out.
a
it was
corporal's
uh
course.
it was amusing. Yeah, the whole corporal's course, that was one of their I guess activities that they had to do. So they went over there and they were like, "Oh, yep, you're not in regulations, get out. You're not in regulations, get out." That was their whole thing. They're trying to get the NCOs more involved in that type of stuff. It was very interesting. Now
Yeah, I
I
remember in
had
the good old. Go
one
ahead,
time,
Andrew.
yeah, I remember one time at Lejeune, I was went in the exchange, and I thought that wearing the flippity flops, I thought the only time you could do that was in Hawaii, right? I was like, oh, you can't wear them anywhere else. So I was on Lejeune and I see this kid with the flippity flops, and I was like, hey, man, come here. And he comes over, and I was like, you're not supposed to be wearing those flip flops in here. And he's like, oh, no, actually, you can. And I was like, no, I don't think you can. And I was a gunny at the time, and he's like, I don't know, a lance corporal or corporal, something like that. And I was like, no, man, I don't think so. And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, it's in the regulation, the for the base. And I was like, it's in the regulation for the base. He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, prove it, show it to me. And he goes, well, I don't have my phone on me. And I was like, hold on a second. So I pulled my phone up and handed it to him. I said, here you go, find it. I'm gonna get my food. I'll sit down right over there. When you find it, come and show me. And he's like, oh, okay, good to go, Gunny. I went and got my food. I sat down, and he come back over there. He's like, all right, here it is, and he pointed it out. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. Sure enough. Yep. All right. Well, enjoy your flippity flops. Go have fun.
Yeah, yeah. Because when, like I said, when we were on the drill field together, that was not in the regulations. Those
Wow.
those
Man, could you
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
in 29 Palms or
Oh,
Camp
yeah.
Pendleton wearing flip flops? Could you imagine
I
that?
don't know. Maybe it's okay nowadays. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you'd
It could
even
have
walked
changed.
into
I
the
don't
base
know.
exchange anywhere down there without, and it's funny, as time goes on, even for me, things got relaxed enough where you didn't go to the exchange or anywhere on base where you could be seen without a belt and your shirt tucked in.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
almost, over time, it's kind of relaxed where it's like, well, there's, you had to have a collared shirt or something. And but all of a sudden it was like, there was a time in the 90s where like a caller wasn't a thing, but it was a caller. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
we even fought that in the band field. It was like, dude, I just paid $50 for this shirt. It's a collared shirt. They're like, you can't wear it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't wear it? We were
The
we
ones
we
that
were fighting it
had a
then.
collar more like this, but it was dress shirt,
Yeah, but it
you
was,
know,
kind of
something like that.
it came up and buttoned up, but it was almost like a tab. I don't know what the hell you would call it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like, they're like, you can't wear that. But I would never in my wildest dreams believe that you could wear sandals or flip flops to the base exchange or to the
Oh, yeah.
commissary or,
yeah, yep. Because they say it's it's a regional type thing for civilian attire that everybody does it in public. So they finally to that, and
uh,
and then like a friend of mine who says, these flip flops they cost $50, a good
Right.
pair, and I'm like,
That is true.
yeah, it is
depending on
true.
what kind you buy. Yeah.
And they're like, you can buy them at the PX. Why can't you wear them? So it
What
finally
I
got
don't know.
up high enough where someone made the
My point to
decision.
that was you can wear them in your damn house or wear them at the beach, but you're not wearing them to freaking
Right.
to the exchange. But
That's what we used to think. That was the way I used to think. But it
Yeah,
all changed.
yeah, I've
that is
seen that
true.
over the years with even and it's sad to even say it now. I mean, like women in the Marine Corps now, what are they called?
Female
They're not
Marine? I don't know.
they're not WMs anymore, are they? I mean, is that still?
No, you can't. I don't think you can say WM anymore. Just
Yeah,
like it used to be dark green Marine, light green Marine,
yeah,
and things like
yeah,
that. They won't let you do that anymore either.
yeah. Well, now the big thing is okay. I'll say this: what does it matter? Why do you have to distinguish somebody as a female Marine or a dark green Marine? You
Well,
shouldn't have to,
the only
but
time I would have like done it is like if you're explaining to like, hey, go see this certain
yeah, you got
Marine,
to go
whoever it
see him.
is, and
So and
then
so he's a dark green Marine. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Gunny Knuckles or something like like that or
yeah,
something. It's like yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but I
Mm.
that's the thing for me to understand is okay. So how do you do that now? just go see Gunny so and so or Sergeant so and so.
Yeah,
I mean, you just retired a year ago, Andrew. So
that's
you tell me. I
that's what
mean,
I'd
how
say.
do
That's
you?
what I would do. Just say, hey, go down and see Gunny whoever and let them do their thing,
But
And then
we can go into the same thing. Is now I see as far as women in the Marine Corps, the uniform, the blues has changed, haven't they? Do they
yeah,
wear?
so they the female blues coat is basically the same as the male blues coat. It's
But it's
just
modified.
it is modified slightly, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
the President's Own and the Drum and Bugle Corps have been doing it for years,
Yes.
where their coats have been modified to, but it's still
Yeah.
the male coat basically. Now I don't know if it buttons on the opposite side, those types of things that I'm not sure of. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of it. I like the old blues, old female blues blouse.
Me too.
But
Me too. Yep.
And
I mean,
there's a
it's
lot
not
of
horrible, but it
there's a lot
depends
of
on body shape. That's a huge one for females because females have hips. So the blouse, the all purpose blouse is not real flattering for some of the females that have bigger hips.
I'm all about them wearing the same blouse. But I know several people that, I was served with in the Marine Corps that, females, and they're like, no, this is garbage.
You,
They shouldn't be
Usually
wearing
it's the
that.
older ones.
Yeah, they shouldn't be wearing this. They shouldn't be wearing that. And especially the old. That's one thing I will say is the old female cover. That, I mean, what's your thought on that? You know,
You're talking about the piss
the
cover or
blues
whatever.
cover,
Oh,
the
the
blues
blues cover.
cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, well, now they're wearing the same barracks cover.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think it looks horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Things are going to change, I suppose, huh?
Well, yeah, but I won't lie to you. I mean, the two of you said that you weren't necessarily a big fan of it. Sorry, I keep wiping my nose, but
That's all right.
uh, to me, it's like, okay, well, we're all wearing the same thing. But I think the female
Yeah.
dress, the blues uniform, and even the alphas were designed with that in mind. As far
Hmm.
as the female body,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
different than you and
Absolutely.
I. I mean, that's why it was designed that way. But
That is true. Well, do you guys have anything you guys want to chat about? Bring up?
No, I'm basically totally unprepared for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too, basically. That's okay though.
you said you
Um,
got to see your granddaughter, though, Mark, right? Man, what is that
Right?
got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like? That's got to be an awesome thing, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. Drove 2 hours, drove 2 hours up there, spent about 45 minutes with her and drove 2 hours back.
Yeah.
But it was
That's one
worth
thing
it.
my wife and I
It
keep
was
talking
worth it.
about is I can't wait to have grandkids. I want to be out of this area. My ultimate goal was always to have like land somewhere where I'd have a pond,
mm,
Yeah.
nice.
and grandkids could come and show up, or Christmas time or Thanksgiving or whenever during the summer. And
Yeah.
I want grandkids, but I don't want grandkids, if that makes sense. I don't want them right now.
Yeah, it all depends on the life situation there.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I stop and think about it. I'm 51 years old. Okay, I'm not getting any younger, but I've got good close personal friends. I grew up with and even knew in the Marine Corps that have grandkids, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. But then I'm like, nah, is that really awesome? I don't know. I want, I look forward to that time, man. Mark, I really do. I look
Right.
forward to that time to have grandkids, and they come running in the house or
Right. When you can be more, like I said, you don't have to be fully retired, but if you're,
yeah,
you don't have uh, the workload,
Yeah,
yeah,
so you can spend time with them.
yeah. So what do your grandkids call you,
very true.
Mark? What do they call you?
Grandpa.
Grandpa?
Yep.
What would you want to be called there, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care.
So whatever they make up.
I've been called to many a things in my life, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
That's a whole nother
I will
story right
say,
there.
yeah, I will say that anytime I go places with my girls and we end up somewhere like at the Walmart or anything like that, somebody always says something along the lines of, "Oh, your granddaughters look so nice," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very nice of you."
Yeah, I do just
So
the
I
opposite.
get it
When I do
anyways.
the opposite when I got my grandkids with me, the two that live with us, they'll say something
Yeah.
about, oh, your son or your kids, grandkids. I got to make that a point.
Oh man, you gotta love that.
Yeah, I
But
always
yeah, I
mess
don't
with
care.
my wife because her mother's Nana, so our kids call her Nana,
Uh-huh.
which I guess is a common thing, but it's usually according to my mother-in-law, Nana is the mother of the wife, but you can't call the mother of
That's
the
weird.
father Nana. So that's what she always said. I'm Nana,
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I think that's a cultural thing.
yeah,
I think it's a cultural thing.
but like
My
my
dad, they called him Papaw.
papa, yeah,
Papaw, yeah.
yeah. My kids always called my dad Pop Pop, and my mother was
Yeah.
Pama. It
Pawmaw.
was Pama, yeah. But that's what I keep saying.
I love it.
I'll say something to Kelly. I'm like, because we don't have any grandkids, but all of our kids have dogs, and I'm like, okay, G Ma,
And
and
they're
she goes,
still
don't
calling
you
you.
dare. She goes, please don't you dare call me G Ma. I'm like, all right, Nana, or she goes, you call me Nana.
Oh man, my sister Sheila, I always give her a hard time. So every time I see her, I or talk to her, or whatever, I'm like, "Oh, Granny, how are you doing?" She gets so mad at me. She, I ain't no Granny. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, you are. You're Granny all day long."
yeah. Yeah, I think it was when it was 2019. Abby graduated from high school, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law was here. My father-in-law's wife was here, all that, and it was one of my son's good friends was here at the house. Like they're two brothers. One was a year ahead of my son. Was my son, and then the other one was like a year behind him. But they were here. My mother was sitting in the chair, and he said something. He goes, "Did you need something, Palma?" And she goes, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And he looked at Kelly's mother, Vicky, and he goes, "Did you need anything, Nana?" And she goes, "I ain't your damn Nana. You
Wow.
don't call me Nana." And he's like, "I'm so sorry. What I need to call you?" Because that's all he's like. He didn't want to be rude and say like, "Hey, Vicky, you need something," even though he's an adult at that point,
Right.
But she goes, "I ain't your damn Nana." He goes, "Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." She goes, "But if you want to call me Nana, you can call me Nana, but you gotta ask permission first." And it was like, okay.
That was
He goes,
strange. Yeah.
"Well, can I call you Nana, Miss Nana?" Just like that. And she goes, "Yeah, that's fine." He's like, he didn't even know her first name. He goes, "Can I call you Nana, Miss Nana?" I don't know what the I don't know what to call you.
Oh man, that's good.
Wow.
But
I went over to when me and the wife were dating and stuff in school. We go over to her grandma's house, and she loved to cook. And one of the things that I learned about her grandma, and usually women of the South in general are kind of like this, but if you go up and you get your plate of food and you eat your food, but you're full and you don't want anything else, that is like very offensive uh, to Granny. So she would make you go back and get more, or if you didn't,
Yep.
she'd be like upset, visibly upset the rest of the time. It was crazy. I was not used to that, and I'm like, I can't eat anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Take
puke.
small portions the first time.
Yeah, I learned that over time. Yeah, and then one time we were leaving. We had been married for a while at this point, but I was leaving, and you know how you do the side hug or whatever. So I did the side hug to her granny, and like I was kind of patting her, like how you pat somebody, and oh, it was good talking to you. Well, her 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 boob has had shifted, and I realized as I was patting her that, oh my God, I'm patting her boob. And I was like, oh no. I mean, I turned completely red immediately. I was like, oh my God. I was, yeah, I was like, yeah, that would be me. Pat grandma's boob. Grandma,
Good
you have a
job.
good one. She's just smiling. Yeah,
Yeah, she was smiling for a reason because you were patting her boob.
yeah, buddy. Oh man. All right. Sorry, that was an inappropriate story. That was
Uh,
okay though. Well, what do you guys got going on this week?
I have to take another exam on next Monday on the 31st. So this week will be trying to figure out cram time.
What kind of exam are you taking?
A uh, accredited financial planner,
Woo.
counselor, or accredited financial counselor.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing college classes, right, Mark?
No, I already got all my college out of the way.
Okay.
That's for your
This is for
job
the
at Window.
job. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
for my position at the Wounded Warrior Project. Since we do, deal with all the financial counseling, they want us, they want us to have accreditations.
Mhm. Nice.
So
Well,
yes,
that'll be
pretty a
fun.
lot of information. It's like, wow, it's a lot of information.
Well, when you are doing that, I will be going to my very first appointment with the VA. So that'll be my first one
Great. And where you at now? You back down still
in
in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Yeah. So I'll be going to Fort Smith, Arkansas for the VA appointment.
Good.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've gone in and gotten
That's
things looked
tomorrow?
at. No, next Monday.
Okay.
The day you have your test.
All right.
I'll be thinking of you whenever I'm getting poked and prodded.
Getting violated.
Yeah. I'm
All
sure
right.
I'm sure I will.
Well,
What are you doing?
that's a good topic of conversation, Andrew. You
What's
bring
that?
it up. Well, you saying you're basically going for a doctor's appointment, right?
Oh, for the VA, yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
it
one
took
thing
me.
I'll ask. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say it took me an entire year to get it set up and go. But now we were traveling too, so which made it a little more difficult. But
Yeah,
I just haven't signed up for it.
but I'll ask you that, Andrew, and I'll ask you that, Mark. I mean, what? Uh, I'm embarrassed to say this, and my wife has been on my case about it, and even the guy I work with is nonstop. He's a veteran, Army veteran, but about going to a doctor.
Hmm.
How important is that to go to a doctor?
Well, I
Whether
would
it be
say
the
it's pretty
VA, whether
important.
what? Yeah, but I other than me trying to cut my thumb off about 7 years ago and have it the end of it sewed back on, I haven't seen a doctor or been a doctor since 2008.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And that's a question that, for me, it's more of I'm afraid to go because of what I'm going to get told.
Mm,
And that's a terrible way to look at it. I mean, because if
It
you go
is,
to
but
a
a lot of us
doctor,
have that same feeling. A lot of us
mhm.
have
and
that
that's
same
that's
feeling.
one thing my wife has been nonstop on me here. I will say lately, but it's when I call lately, like the last several years, and it's almost like I'm terrified to go to the damn doctor because I'm afraid what they're going to tell me. Is that a common thing amongst us?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is it out of sight, out of mind kind of thing? I know
I
I
think
need to
it's
go.
yeah, I think it's a common feeling, but it's a dangerous feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
There's
as
there's
we
things.
age, the crap we've been exposed to, um, you just never know what the hell's growing.
Yeah.
yeah,
I got this thing on my cheek here. It's like a little bump or whatever keeps popping up, and I've I don't know. I procrastinated about it long enough.
yeah,
That's one of the things I got to talk to the doc about.
yeah.
Where I go, oh my God,
Right,
my dogs are going
right.
crazy.
But see, that's
But
one thing I would say to you, Andrew. If you said that to me, I'm like, what the hell are you waiting for? Go to the damn doctor. That's me, but I don't take my own damn advice. And
Me
that's
either.
one
yeah,
thing I don't understand why, and
I
she's like, why
I'd
won't you
say
go to the doctor? And I was like, and I come up with 101 excuses. My wife's had multiple over the last 5 to 7 years,
mhm,
medical issues come up that
yeah,
she's had to deal with. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have, the VA and all that. And I was like, I'm paying for insurance. So it's like, all right, well, let's just, you get taken care of. Once you're settled up, that I'll go to the doctor. I'll finally make an appointment.
yeah,
And it's my own
And we never do.
excuse. No, we
yeah,
don't. And the next thing I know, 18 months later, something else pops up. It's like, okay, well, let's get you taken care of.
yeah.
Let's do this. And I keep doing that crap. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking you guys, and even the community that may be watching this. Am I alone?
No,
I
I don't,
I just
I don't think you're alone, but it's a dangerous game that we play as
yes,
men.
mhm,
and that's the problem I have is I'd like to be here 10 years from now,
yeah,
but I
Right.
don't know that unless I go to the damn doctor.
yeah.
And it's a scary thing, really. It's like, okay, we can deal with this, deal with that, but then
Well,
it comes down to
you're talking about like medical conditions and stuff like that, but I think for especially veterans, a even bigger part of that is your mental health. Veterans, for whatever reason, do not want to you have to be vulnerable, I suppose, to go and get help when you're having mental issues or things of that nature.
oh,
But I would say in
absolutely,
the veteran community, that's huge.
yeah,
It's I don't know if you look at it as is it embarrassing? Is it it shows that you're weak or whatever. I mean, there's a million different excuses you could use.
yeah.
But that's something that we're gonna have to do as people, or we need to do. Not that we have to, but we need to.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you're
Yep.
going to the VA, Andrew.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be fun.
You're gonna have to shave all this off.
Uh-uh. They're gonna have to work around it.
I almost did mine Friday night. I was like, I'm about done with this crap, and I was had the razor out, and I was shaving this, and shaved my head, and I was like, it's coming off, and I stood there and looked in the mirror. I was like, no, it's not coming off yet. It just can't. Yeah, so it's just go. I need another month, one more month,
One more.
one more month.
Yeah, I think that's what all the guys on Duck Dynasty said. Just one more month. Just one
Yeah.
more month. Oh man. Well, you guys got anything else you want to cover? And if not, then we could just hit up words of wisdom.
Well, I was going to ask Mark, talking about, you said you had all your college that you were going to get. These were just classes you were doing for Wounded Warriors. But what has pushed you to continue? And that's one thing I keep talking to my wife about is what you know. It was after Thursday's podcast, Andrew. I can't remember his name now. It's talking
JR.
about therapists and stuff like that. I was like, part of my mind thinks me I'd be a terrible therapist. But the other side of me is like, okay, well, the problem is I think I've got a lot of things I've got to get therapized, if that's even a word, on first.
I think
You
we
know
all
what I
need
mean?
that.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a word.
But what, to be what would it take to be, a therapist? But what has pushed you to continue to get this, continual education, Mark? Because I won't lie to you. I keep saying I want to do it, and I don't do it. I make up 101 excuses why I can't do it, why I don't want to do it. I got to work,
Yeah, I guess I've just always had the lifelong love of learning, but like this certification was kind of pushed on us, pushed on everybody that's in the financial readiness team. That just became one of the criterias of this position is to get that accreditation.
Interesting. And now you
That's
have
why I'm doing
you have a master's, right, Mark?
it. Yes. Yep. Get
You
a
don't have a
master's.
doctorate?
No. I don't
Okay.
think I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to give that much effort to it, because it's a big,
Yeah.
it's a big, uh, it's a big undertaking, to say, hey,
Yeah.
if you go for that program, you've got so many months to accomplish it, and I don't know if I want to work because I still want to work. My goal, like I said, I love living. I hate the politics and everything like that, but I love it in Southern California, here in San Diego, especially this town where we live. And I want this house paid off, and I got like 8 years left on it.
Oh wow.
So that's my peak. Because once it's paid off, if I can't live off a sergeant major 30-year salary with some money from the VA, if I don't have a mortgage, then there's something wrong with me, because
Yeah.
that's such a big expense is the mortgage. But once that's paid off, I mean,
you just got taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
They,
so,
I don't know what
and
the
I want,
taxes are. Yeah.
they get
no,
you somehow.
and it's not a big, grand, beautiful house or anything, but I like the house, and I just don't want to get rid of it. I'd rather, if I'm not going to do anything with it, I'd rather rent it to a Marine or a sailor here in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I don't
Well,
want
I
to get
mean,
rid of it.
eventually, if you decide you're going to move or whatever, you should keep it and rent it out. I mean,
Exactly.
because
That's kind of the
rent
goal.
there's
That's
only
kind of
going
the
to
plan.
go up.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan. That's kind of the plan.
Nice.
And with it all paid off, you've got $1 million worth of equity that at your fingertips.
Yeah.
If you want to go wild and crazy,
Very
That's
true.
actually one question. Did you buy your house with your VA loan?
Yeah, sure did. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And that was one thing when we were buying our house that was in the clause that with the VA loan you could never rent it out.
I thought it was
No,
only like
what?
2-year period. Like you had to live in it for 2 years before you
Yeah,
could
that
rent.
I honestly that I
Right.
don't remember. I don't remember. But I'm assuming what I'm getting at is if the house is if the mortgage is completely paid off under your VA loan, at that point there's no restrictions, right?
Correct.
Right.
I don't think there's the restrictions on renting it out, like I said, because I know plenty of people who do that.
Yeah.
They as long as you're not trying to use another VA. Now, if you want to do another VA loan, yeah, you have to refinance it into a regular loan.
Well, that I
Then
understand.
you-
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting. All right.
Yep.
Well, you guys got words of wisdom tonight? Do you guys
Oh
feel, are you
man,
feeling
you always got
wise?
you're always going on the words of wisdom. Good Lord.
You notice how I just let you guys do the words of wisdom because there's not much
Yeah,
wise. There's
I
not
was
much
going to ask
wise
that
that
a while
happens
back.
here.
Why don't you ever have any words of wisdom? I was going to ask that.
Oh man, my words of wisdom aren't that wise, I don't think. So let's see, words of wisdom. Hmm, I got nothing.
Then you ask us. Let's see how you are.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to
Yeah,
do
you
words
can,
of
or
wisdom.
you can pull up an old one.
I can quote one of my heroes, John Wayne. I mean, John Wayne's got some incredible uh, quotes.
Speaking of that, I was watching. We're talking about westerns. Kelly got last Friday night and Saturday night. She was home, and I was sitting there watching. We switched from DirecTV to Dish Network, so
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out the channels. But the one channel that always, she's like, "How the hell does it always send it up on the same damn channel?" But last Friday night, we were sitting there watching Wagon Train. You know, yeah,
Nice.
Wagon Train, and then last night it was Wagon Train, and then it was something. What is it with John Wayne? It's Rooster.
Rooster
Rooster
Cogburn.
Cogburn
Yep, that's it.
or True. Well, True Grit was the first one,
Yep,
Yeah.
True Grit, and yeah, Rooster
and
Cogburn.
then it
And
was Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, "Why the heck do you want to watch this stuff?" And I was like,
Hey, and Andrew out of Fort Smith,
Oh yeah, the hanging
True
judge.
Grit and Rooster were out of Fort Smith,
That's right. And then he would go out into Indian territory, which is
Indian
where I'm at.
Territory.
And then there's a if you ever get to go to Fort Smith, Arkansas, you should go check out the courthouse. They still have the courthouse where the hanging judge was.
Judge Parker.
And yeah, Judge Parker, like his actual, like I think it has his desk that was there originally and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're into history stuff and things of that nature,
Heck
but
yeah.
yeah. And the Lone Ranger was based off of one of the marshals that was here. Bass, what was his name?
Bass Reeves.
Some Bass.
"Yep,
Bass Reeves,
Bass
that's it.
Reeves.
Yeah. So Bass Reeves was an African American gentleman that was a marshal out of Fort Smith. And that's the Lone Ranger was based off of him.
yeah." There's a whole new. I think it's on Netflix now. It's a whole movie based on him.
I
Bass
think it's a
Reeves. Yeah,
series. Isn't
yeah,
it a
yeah,
series?
yeah,
Man, Taylor Sheridan is the one that did it, I think.
yeah,
The same guy that
yeah.
did all the
Yellowstone
1923
and yeah,
Yellowstone. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
All right, here we go. I'll give you one. Uh, let's see here. Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyways. Huh? That one's pretty good.
It. That's it.
Well, not bad.
I mean, it's John Wayne. Can't go
John
wrong.
Wayne.
There you go.
You know it.
We
From
Well,
everybody.
Winterset, Iowa.
What'd you say?
From Winterset, Iowa. That's where
No
John Wayne's
kidding.
from. Yep.
Huh? I did not know that. Have you ever tried his whiskey? John Wayne
No.
bourbon? It's
No.
pretty good. Yeah,
I don't even
it's
know he had one.
Didn't
super
either.
smooth. Super smooth. It's good.
Is that from when he was still alive, or it's something that's been
No,
created since then?
nah, he started the bourbon when he was alive, and then I think it passed down to his kids. But I mean, they're
Gotcha.
still producing it. And I can't remember what they call it. The Duke, I think is what it is.
Probably,
The
yeah.
Duke bourbon, I think.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, I got one here. It's part of it was something that I was talking to somebody the other day about. But this one's from Albert Einstein. A person who never made a mistake ever, never actually tried anything new,
Mm.
which goes into a thing that this person I was talking to said, every time he came home from school, his dad would look at him and say, "What did you fail at today?"
Mm.
And
That's pretty good.
he said, he said, for the longest time, he said, I always thought my dad was a complete butthole. He said, "What'd you fail at today?"
There was a
And
lesson in it.
he was
Yeah.
like, "I didn't fail at anything." He said, "We had to fail at something today." He said, "What did you try new today, or what did you do that you failed at?" That's what it comes down to: is what
Exactly.
did you try new? What did you do today? Because without failure, you will never know success. You will never know unless you actually put yourself out there and try. You've
Yeah.
got to fail to be successful.
Very true. I like it. All right,
And
Mark,
after and,
bringing
and
up the rear.
after Mike's wise wisdom, I'm gonna have to regurgitate one. It says if someone calls you trash, just remember it's a garbage can, not a garbage can.
That's right.
There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. All right, fellas. Thanks. I appreciate you coming on and
Alrighty.
doing this. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling and need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many, as my cat is nudging my finger. I care about you. I know Mark and Mike care about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. My cat is saying, stay motivated, change your socks.
Change your socks.